Hi everyone, my name is Rick Gabriel M. Roberts. Today we'll be discussing the Green Revolution. So, GE312, I hope you listen and cooperate since this is just a video presentation. So let's start in the middle of 20th century, maybe 1950s. Around 1950s, many developing countries faced serious food shortages because their populations were growing quickly. This meant that there were more people to feed. Not enough food was being produced to meet everyone's needs. Now, to solve this problem, scientists in the 1960s developed high yield varieties of wheat and rice. High yield varieties means that these are the types of crops that produce more grains than the regular ones. These new types of wheat and rice were introduced to Asian and Latin American countries to help them grow more food and reduce hunger. However, these high yield crops needed modern farming methods to grow properly. So farmers had to use, for one, chemical fertilizers. So these give the plants enough nutrients to grow well. Two, pesticides to protect crops from insects and diseases. Three, machineries or machines like tractors and harvesters to plant and collect crops faster, more efficiently. Now, these modern farming techniques were introduced by highly developed countries like USA to develop to developing that countries that belongs to Asia and Latin America like Mexico. Example, Mexico in 1965, wheat production increased for more than 2,400 kilograms or 2.65 tons per hectare because of high yield wheat and modern farming techniques. Indonesia used to be the larger importer of rice. So what we meant by importer, um, they are they had to buy rice from other countries. They need to import. So Indonesia used to be the largest importer, but after using this HYR high yield rice and better farming methods, Indonesia now grows enough rice for its people. And even they have extra rice to sell to other countries. So from importers to exporters. Wow. Now this period increased food production. This is known as the Green Revolution because it helped many developing countries overcome hunger, improve their agricultural production. Now, the Green Revolution helped increase food production. However, it also caused some serious challenges for developing countries. Number one, why? Number one, dependence on imported technologies. So, growing high yield crops, farmers in developing countries need to rely on modern farming tools and products such as agrochemicals. So what we mean by agrochemicals, there are the fertilizers and pesticides from developed countries. Two is the tractor and machinery. These are the expensive machines for planting and harvesting. This made developing countries dependent on rich industrialized nations for their farming needs. And as a result, many farmers moved away from their traditional farming methods and had to spend more money on imported products. High energy costs, number two. While high yield crops increased the food production, they also required a lot of energy. Bro, farmers needed fuel to run the tractors and machines, produce fertilizers, and pump water irrigations. So the increased production cost and made farming more expensive. So even though it made the farming or it made the farming easier, it also made the farming more expensive. So environmental problems. So using many fertilizers and pesticides can cause damage to environment. In what ways? Number one, soil degradation. Overuse of chemicals made soil less fertile over time. Water pollution. Pesticides and fertilizers washed into rivers and lakes, harming aquatic life. The loss of biodiversity. Focusing on just few high-yield crops reduce the variety of plants, animals in the ecosystem. So in 1999, the International Food Policy Research Institute predicted that the global demand for rice, wheat, and corn would increase by 40% between 2000 and 2020. So this meant that farmers would need to find new ways to increase food production to meet the growing demand. Now, to solve this problem, scientists started to use genetic engineering to create crops that produce more grains, resist pests and diseases naturally, and survive in harsh weather conditions. So this is now what we call the genetically modified organisms or the GMO. It's what we have learned in STS. Number six, modern farming. Modern farming methods. So new methods such as water efficient irrigation also have been developed to help farmers use less water while still producing enough crops. This helps reduce environmental impacts and make farming more sustainable. So in short, while green revolution helped reduce hunger, it also created another challenge. So new challenges solved, another challenge began. Also created requirements for modern solutions and scientific advancements. Now, the use of hormones and antibiotics in livestock farming has been a controversial practice, yet it continues in many countries, including United States, because it boosts animal production. Now, hormones in livestock are commonly given to animals like cattle to help them grow faster and more efficiently. Now, these hormones are often administered through ear implants, which slowly release the hormone into the animal's body. By regulating animals' bodily functions, hormones help livestock to grow bigger, less time, which increases meat productions. Now, farmers add low doses of antibiotics to feed given to pigs, chickens, and cattle. This practice helps animals to grow 4 to 5% more weight than those that don't receive antibiotics. So the antibiotics may improve digestion, may reduce illness, and allow animals to convert food into body weight more efficiently. Now, why is this controversial? Critics argue that using hormones and antibiotics may pose risks to human health. For example, excessive antibiotic use can contribute to antibiotic resistance, making it harder to treat infections in humans. But despite these concerns, this method is still widely practiced because it helps increase meat production and making food more affordable in many countries. Now, the expansion of modern agricultural and industrial activity has led to severe environmental impacts. For one is the air pollution. Farming activities such as burning crop waste and using machines release pollutants like carbon dioxide and methane into air. So livestock also produce methane during digestion, contributing greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. Water pollution, number two. Fertilizers and pesticides used in farming can wash into rivers, lakes, and groundwater through runoff. And this pollution harms aquatic life, causes algae blooms, and makes water unsafe for drinking and recreation. Now, the pesticide runoff is when pesticides are sprayed on crops and rainwater can carry them into nearby bodies of water such as lakes or rivers. Now, this can poison fishes and other aquatic organisms and disrupt the balance of the ecosystem. Now, the degradation of land. Soil degradation happens when land loses its ability to support crops and livestock. It is caused by overfarming and overgrazing, erosion from wind and water, and loss of nutrients due to excessive chemical use. Now, the last one is the habitat fragmentation. So, expanding farmlands and building roads or infrastructures often break up large natural habitats into smaller, isolated areas. This makes harder for animals to find food, mates, shelter, threatening their biodiversity and causing some species to decline or worse, going extinct. Now, in a nutshell, modern agriculture and industrial activity have significantly increased food production, but also have caused serious environmental problems. The use of fertilizers and pesticides and modern farming methods has led air and water pollution as chemicals and waste from farms enter the environment. Pesticide runoff pollutes water sources, harming aquatic life and ecosystem. Farming and poor land management have caused soil degradation, reducing the land's ability to grow crops and support livestock. Additionally, expanding farmland and infrastructure has caused habitat fragmentation, breaking up large natural areas and threatening wildlife. These issues highlights the need for more sustainable farming practices, also to balance food production with environmental protection. As we need to have mass production for those living in country that has a lot of population, we also need to consider our environment or the protection our environment because it's what they say. Nature can survive without humans, but humans cannot survive without nature. That is all for my lesson about the Green Revolution. Once again, my name is Rick Gabriel M. Roberts. I hope you've learned something this lesson. Bye bye.